Listen, the first 24 hours of a total blackout are the most critical window you'll ever face. And here's why most people fail it completely. They spend the first 2 hours assuming the power will come back any minute. Then they spend the next 4 in denial, checking their phones, flipping light switches like that's going to change anything. By hour 8, panic sets in. They've already made 3 fatal mistakes, and now they're playing catch-up in the dark with no plan and dwindling options. The reality is that what you do in the first 60 minutes, before the sun goes down, before your refrigerator warms up, before everyone else figures out this isn't a normal outage, that tiny window determines whether you're set up to survive or whether you're about to experience the worst week of your life. And I'm not talking about some temporary inconvenience. A total blackout, the kind that takes down the grid for days or weeks, creates a cascading series of failures that most people don't see coming until it's too late to fix them. Here's what actually happens in a total blackout that's different from a regular power outage, and this is critical to understand. In a normal outage, you've got infrastructure still working around you. Cell towers have battery backup, water treatment plants have generators, gas stations might be down, but the fuel supply chain is intact. In a total blackout, a grid down scenario from EMP, cyber attack, or cascading infrastructure failure, everything goes dark simultaneously. Cell networks die within 48 hours when tower batteries drain. Water pressure drops within 12 hours as pumping stations fail. Gas stations can't pump fuel even if they wanted to because the pumps are electric. ATMs are dead. Credit card systems are offline. Within 24 hours, you're living in a fundamentally different world than you woke up in. And the people who survive this transition intact are the ones who took specific actions in that first critical day. So here's your first move. And you need to do this within the first 30 minutes of realizing this is not a standard outage. Fill every container you own with water. Bathtubs, sinks, pots, buckets, empty soda bottles, everything. Right now, you still have water pressure because the system is running on residual pressure and whatever backup power exists at treatment plants. That will not last. In urban areas, water pressure starts dropping within 6 to 12 hours. In some systems, it's faster. Once it's gone until the grid comes back, and you have no idea when that will be. An average person needs a gallon of water per day for drinking and basic hygiene. A family of 4 needs 4 gallons daily. If you fill your bathtub, that's about 40 to 60 gallons right there, enough for 10 to 15 days if you're careful. This single action in the first 30 minutes solves your most critical survival need before it becomes a crisis. While you're filling containers, your second priority is assessing and securing food, but not the way most people think. You're not worried about your long-term food storage yet. You're doing triage on what's in your refrigerator and freezer because the clock just started ticking on all of it. Your refrigerator will stay cold for about 4 hours if you don't open it, maybe 6 if it's packed full. Your freezer will hold temperature for 24 to 48 hours if it's full and you keep it closed. So here's what you do. You open the fridge once, right now, and you pull out anything you're going to eat in the next 4 to 8 hours. Dairy that's close to expiration, leftovers that won't keep, anything that's already partially gone. That becomes your food for today. Then you close that door and you don't open it again until you absolutely have to. Same with the freezer. One quick assessment of what you have, then seal it. Every time you open those doors, you're bleeding cold air and shortening the safe window for everything inside. Now let's talk about light, because the sun is going to set, and when it does, you're going to understand darkness in a way you never have before. Modern humans have no concept of true darkness. There's always a street light, a neighbor's porch light, the glow from electronics. In a total blackout, it's prehistoric darkness, and it's disorienting and dangerous. You need light sources identified and positioned before sunset. Flashlights, candles, battery-powered lanterns, anything that works. But here's the critical mistake people make. They burn through all their batteries and candles in the first night because they're trying to keep the whole house lit like normal. That's insane. You're rationing light. One room gets a light source at a time, and only when you're actively in it. The rest of the house stays dark. You move the light with you. A single LED lantern on low setting can run for 40 to 60 hours on one set of batteries. On high, trying to light up your living room, maybe 8 hours. Do the math on which strategy keeps you lit for a week versus a night. Here's what most people completely miss in the first 24 hours. Information gathering. Right now, in the first few hours, you might still be able to get information. Your phone might have battery. Some radio stations might still be broadcasting on backup power. Car radios work as long as you have fuel. You need to know what you're dealing with. Is this regional or national? Was there an attack or natural disaster? Are authorities saying hours, days, or weeks for restoration? This information changes your entire strategy. If it's localized and they're saying 6 hours, fine, you're in wait mode. If it's regional and they're saying days or they're saying nothing at all, you're in survival mode and every decision changes. Spend 30 minutes in the first few hours trying to gather intel. Scan radio stations, check if any neighbors have information. If you've got a battery-powered or hand crank emergency radio, this is exactly when you use it. Now we need to talk about security, because this is where the first 24 hours can go very bad very fast. In the first few hours, everyone is still in civilized mode, shocked, confused, but basically decent. By hour 12, some people are getting nervous. By hour 18 to 24, when the sun comes up on day 2 and nothing has changed, you're going to see the first break-ins, the first confrontations, the first signs that social order is cracking. Your job in the first day is to become invisible. Lights off at night, no unnecessary noise, no clicking smells drifting outside if you can help it. You want to look like every other dark house on the block. The houses that get hit first are the ones that stand out. Generators running, lights blazing, people coming and going. That screams resources, and resources attract attention. If you've got a generator, you use it sparingly and only for critical needs, and you muffle the sound as best you can. Better yet, you don't use it at all in the first day unless you absolutely have to, because noise travels and it marks you. Here's the thing about temperature control in the first 24 hours that determines your comfort for the entire blackout. If it's summer, your house is going to heat up. If it's winter, it's going to cool down. But the first day, you still have thermal mass working for you. Your walls, your floors, your furniture, they're all holding the temperature your house was at when the power cut. You've got maybe 12 to 18 hours before that equalizes with outside temperature. This is your window to prepare your climate strategy. In summer, that means closing all blinds and curtains on sun-facing windows, opening windows at night to let cool air in, closing them when the sun comes up, creating cross-ventilation if possible. In winter, it means sealing off rooms you're not using, hanging blankets over windows for extra insulation, picking the one room you're going to keep warm and concentrating everyone there. You don't get a second chance at this once the temperature shifts. If you let your house bake in summer or freeze in winter without a plan, you're fighting an uphill battle for the rest of the blackout. Let's address the thing nobody wants to talk about, but becomes critical by hour 24. Sanitation. Toilets work on water pressure or gravity from tanks. When water pressure dies, you get 1, maybe 2 flushes from whatever water is left in the pipes and tank. After that, flushing doesn't work. If you're on a septic system and you've got stored water, you can manually flush by pouring water directly into the bowl. If you're on city sewer, same thing, as long as the sewer lines aren't backed up. But here's the problem. If this is a widespread blackout, sewage treatment plants aren't running. In densely populated areas, that means sewer systems can back up within 24 to 72 hours. Toilets can start backing up sewage into homes. This is not theoretical. This happened in major blackouts. So your first day strategy is to assess your toilet situation and have a backup plan ready. A bucket with a garbage bag liner and some kind of absorbent material. Kitty litter, sawdust, dirt, whatever you have. This becomes your emergency toilet if the regular one fails. It sounds disgusting until the alternative is sewage flooding your bathroom. Now here's the psychological component of the first 24 hours that's just as important as any physical preparation. You need to establish a routine and a sense of control immediately. Humans fall apart without structure. When everything is chaos, you create artificial order. You set meal times. You assign tasks if you've got family. You create a sleep schedule and stick to it even though there's no work tomorrow. This keeps everyone's mental state stable. The families that descend into panic and fighting in the first day are the ones that lose all structure. Everyone is sitting around in the dark, catastrophizing, snapping at each other. The families that thrive are the ones where someone takes charge, calmly, and says, here's what we're doing and when. Breakfast at 8, even if it's cold cereal. Lunch at noon. Kids have quiet activities in the afternoon. Dinner at 6. Lights out at 10. This predictability is psychologically stabilizing when the outside world has become completely unpredictable. Here's something most people don't realize until it's too late. Your phone is not just a communication device. It's your flashlight, your camera, your note-taking tool, possibly your only way to get information. And the battery is finite. In the first 24 hours, you need a phone battery strategy. Turn off all unnecessary features. No Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi scanning, no apps running in the background. Put it in airplane mode if you're not actively trying to get a signal. Lower the screen brightness to minimum. Better yet, turn it off completely except for scheduled check-ins. Say every 4 hours you power it on, check for signal, check for information, then power it back off. A phone that would normally die in 12 hours of use can last 3 to 4 days with strict rationing. And if you've got a car, you've got a charging source. 10 minutes of your car running can top off a phone battery. Just don't run your car in an enclosed garage. Carbon monoxide will kill you faster than any blackout will. Let's talk about the first 24-hour mistake that causes the most long-term problems: panic buying or looting. When the blackout hits, there's a window, usually hour 4 to hour 12, where some stores might still be open, either running on generators or just manually conducting business. The temptation is to rush out and grab everything you can. Here's why that's often a mistake. 1, you're leaving your secure location and going to exactly where desperate crowds are gathering. 2, you're exposing what you get to everyone who sees you loading your car. 3, if this is a long-term situation, those supplies you grab are going to run out eventually anyway, and you've marked yourself as someone with resources. The smarter play, if you're not already prepared, is strategic, quiet acquisition. Hit a small corner store, not the major supermarket where chaos is erupting. Get high-calorie, long-lasting items. Don't grab a cart full. Grab what you can carry in a single bag that doesn't scream prep supplies. And you do this once, early, then you go to ground. Here's the timeline of what fails when in the first 24 hours, because understanding this helps you prioritize. Hour 0, power is gone, but most battery backups are still running. Hour 2 to 4, cell networks start getting unreliable as towers drain. Hour 4 to 8, credit card systems are completely down, it's cash only where anything is still open. Hour 6 to 12, water pressure starts dropping in most municipal systems. Hour 12 to 18, emergency services are overwhelmed and essentially non-functional. Hour 18 to 24, the psychological shift happens where people realize this isn't temporary and you see the first serious breakdowns in social order. If you've used the first day well, you've got water stored, food triaged, light sources ready, information gathered, security buttoned up, and a plan for the next week. If you've wasted it, hoping things go back to normal, you're now starting from 0 in a much more dangerous environment. The survivors of the first 24 hours are not the ones with the most gear or the biggest stockpiles, though those things help. They're the ones who accepted the reality immediately, who didn't waste time in denial, and who took methodical action while everyone else was still posting on social media asking if anyone else's power was out. The first day of a total blackout is your foundation. Everything that comes after, day 2, day 7, day 30, your success in those periods is determined by what you did or didn't do in these first critical 24 hours. And the brutal truth is that most people will fail this test because they simply can't believe it's real until it's too late to do anything about it.